So I have with me the RedMagic 11 Pro, and it's the first Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 gaming phone that I'm going to be testing out in the channel. And it's got liquid cooling in it, which is another first. They've added an IPX8 water resistant rating to this and dust resistant, and the fan in there, the 24,000 RPM fan, is now waterproof according to RedMagic. We still have those great features that we'll come to love with the RedMagic gaming phones, and that is the capacitive shoulder triggers. We have a 3.5mm headphone jack, an under-display camera, and we have an ultrasonic fingerprint reader that works exceptionally well. Now, the under-display camera is 16 megapixels. The two cameras on the rear, ultra-wide and main, are both 50 megapixels. We have 80-watt wired and wireless charging and a 7,500 milliamp hour battery. So it seems for gamers like the complete package here. And performance-wise, this is the absolute best that I've seen so far when it comes to synthetic benchmarks.
So the version that I got here is the Night Freeze one, so 16 gigabytes of RAM, 2 with it, and 512 gigabytes of storage. We get here in the top a SIM tray tool and a case. Good to see this. So we're getting the case included, and it's a hard plastic style case. It's got a little bit of flex in it and this texture on the back, so you still will be able to see some of the internals and the liquid cooling on the back of it. Phone right here, and then we have a Type-C to Type-C cable and our 80-watt charger. So the RedMagic 11 Pro supports 80 watts wired and 80 watts wireless. So it's a good-looking phone, I think. Some might think this is a little bit over the top, but what I like about it is it's very solid, metal frame around the outside. We have the game mode switch, power on, volume up, exit vent for the fan. 24,000 RPM, and it's now the first waterproof fan, turbo fan they call it. Liquid metal 3.0 vapor chamber is very large in this, and it's the world's first phone to have the liquid cooling. So this is what circulates around. You can see the different colors in the oil and the liquid there as it moves about, and I'll show you that later when it's in action. In fact, I just put an insert of that now, and it looks pretty cool that it's got that. Will it make a difference? Well, they can push the power of this a lot more and really push those thermals because of it. And the fan, as I've seen in the previous models, it does make a bit of a difference. It means that, again, they can push that performance a lot higher than you would on other phones. So cameras on the back, there is a 50 megapixel main camera, optical image stabilization. We've got a ultra wide and a camera for depth information, and then our LED flash dual tone. So it's all flat here, very easy to keep that clean, and that also would mean that it might be a bit easier to get a scratch in front of where those cameras are. So the frame around the outside feels excellent. USB 3.2 Gen 2, so video out support with that. Our SIM tray takes 2 nano SIMs. You can see the antenna lines, loudspeaker at the top, microphone, and then 3.5mm headphone jack. I think is an absolute must with a gaming phone. So what it is missing is micro SD card support. The RedMagic 11 Pro is 8.9mm the thickness and weighs 230 grams. Considering it is packing a 7,500 milliamp hour battery, I don't think that's too bad. And as I said before, 80-watt wireless charging and 80 wired. Now the screen, it's using an ultrasonic fingerprint reader, and ultrasonic ones, they are simply the best, much better than optical, and it just works every single time for me. I haven't had it fail on me, and that is brilliant. So it goes up to 144 Hz, this refresh rate with our AMOLED screen. Now the brightness also peaks up to 1800 nits, and in direct sunlight, you can make this out. It's not a problem. It's a very bright screen. In fact, my capture here is actually making it look a little bit worse than what it really is, but it's a great screen. And we have the under-display camera again, which is the weakness when it comes to all of the cameras. That's 16 megapixels, and you got the pixels that go over the front of it, so you can't even see it at all. And it does. I think it looks really good and suits a gaming phone. Their flagship Nubia Z series, not so much, because you're not getting the best selfie quality and especially vlog video performance out of that under-display camera. Bezels are minimal, and overall performance of the UI has been great. It is very quick, very fast, and it is running Magic OS 11. And that is based off Android 16. I am on the latest firmware at the time of this video here, and the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, of course, with that 16 gigabytes of RAM. It ensures that everything is very, very smooth here. Performance is phenomenal. It's really quick, snappy phone that I've experienced no lags with whatsoever. When you get the RedMagic 11 Pro, there's quite a bit of bloatware that is pre-installed, so it took me about 5 minutes or so to clean all that up. I still mention this because I think some brands just go overboard. This is not the worst I've seen, but they could tone down on it a little bit, RedMagic. So here we have the Antutu score. This is version 11, almost 4 million points. This is a crazy score. And you can see the thermals went up 20 degrees Celsius in that time during the test, and we lost 7% battery life. The GPU performance, excellent. It really is an absolute monster powerhouse. They certainly do push those thermals because you do feel the frame start to heat up, and I'll give you some more information on that shortly. Internal storage, so UFS 4.1. Very, very quick here. I mean, look at those speeds. I don't think I have seen faster than this. This has to be, in fact, the fastest I have seen because it's just phenomenal. Look at those speeds. That's even faster than, well faster than PCIe 3.0. So that's really good. And the randoms are great too as well. Access, that's an important one for game loading times, sequential writes. Really quick there, blazing fast. Now, it does throttle quite a bit. Performance will drop down. And you see at the 15 minute mark, it holds out for some time, and that's probably because of the little fan, the liquid cooling. So it will hold for a while, but we're getting almost a 50% drop. So just short of that from the performance, from going from 8,110 down to 4,116 with this looping test here, which is very demanding. I got to mention that. It's not really realistic, but it's to see how phones do handle throttling. Temperatures, this is probably the hottest I have seen in some time. One of the hottest out there, getting up to 57 degrees Celsius. And why is that? Well, it's because RedMagic is pushing that heat from the chipset into the frame, into the body and the back of it. The liquid cooling's moving all of that about. So it will get quite uncomfortable to the touch, but we get phenomenal frame rates. So there is that trade-off between being uncomfortable, giving you great frame rates. Now, when you're gaming, it's not going to get that hot. This test does push it a little bit more than normal. I found when gaming, you are still going to see over 50 degrees Celsius, however, so it will feel quite hot to the touch. Now, battery life, because of the little fan in there, the liquid cooling, it's not as good as it could be for such a large capacity battery. So 7,500 milliamp hours is big, very big. Silicon carbon battery. Now, with another phone that is still under embargo, but from basically the same company, ZTE Nubia, using the same battery, same chipset, we're seeing around about 2 hours more. And that's because, again, of that little pump in there for the liquid cooling, for the fan, a 24,000 RPM fan. It's having a bit of an impact on there. Now, charging time, okay, it didn't quite charge it right, but it's just over an hour. Looking around about 70 minutes to fully charge this battery. Considering the capacity, I don't think that's too bad at all. It's not the fastest out there, but it still is very good speed. Voice call quality has been fine with the RedMagic 11 Pro. And the haptics, okay, haptics on it, small little bursts. It's not the strongest. It's an okay haptics engine, but it certainly isn't the best out there. Now, speakers are above average. We've got the dual speakers, stereo speakers, nice and loud, bit of bass, mids there. They're very good, and they're fitting of a gaming phone. And of course, if you're going to be gaming, I would really be using the 3.5mm headphone jack, which, by the way, sounds really good. Great to have. So you've got no issues with latency. If you use Bluetooth with gaming, you still have that split-second delay, but of course, using the plugged-in 3.5mm analog there, you're not going to have that issue. So speaker sample now, this I will do at, well, I'll do it at just below 100% volume, so you can hear what the speakers sound like.
Now let's take a look at gaming. So you've got the gaming triggers at the top, the gaming mode switch, so I'll flick that. and then we jump into the dedicated gaming space. Just turn that music down a little bit. So you can add your games manually. It will detect most of them. And here's where you can customize, configure things and whatnot. There's a lot of things you can do. Now, the fan you don't have to use. And I can tell you that when you're using it, you don't normally hear the fan. But if you're in a room that's completely silent and you left the game running and you've got the volume turned right down, you will hear it then. You just hear that 24,000 RPM fan. It's not that offensive, but it's a noise you'll hear. So the game I'm going to test is Wuthering Waves because it pretty much is one of the most demanding Android games, if not the most at the moment, and even more so than Genshin Impact. So you've got some settings here. I can configure then, of course, the top triggers. You can see a little bit of the RGB lighting we do get. So there's the lights with the triggers, the light inside the fan, and then the logo lights up here. And the liquid cooling, no, that doesn't actually light up, but it's just the logo on the back. You can see then the fan too as well, just in there, which is good. And you've got options to customize that too if you want. Now, in case you missed this in all the other RedMagic videos that I've posted, the triggers, how you customize them is just going through the gamer menu and it's saved per game. So the shoulder triggers at the top here, what I have set them to is attack. And then this one is the run or the dodge there that I do have for Wuthering Waves. And it's very easy to customize. So it's basically just emulating touch on the screen there via those triggers. And they're very quick. And this is faster and in a way more comfortable once you get used to it, especially for shooting games like, say, PUBG or Call of Duty, to be able to use sights and then fire. So you customize that. It's then saved. And you'll see when I tap the triggers here at the top. Okay, so I'm stepping back there and then the attack using the left trigger. Looking around, you get no lags. And the frame rate, it maintains very close to 60 frames per second. In some areas, with some boss fights and whatnot, you will notice the occasional dip. But this is the best performance you're going to get out of this game with this kind of hardware. And as I mentioned before with the 3D Mark test, it eventually does get quite hot, the frame. Now, in the beginning when you're gaming, you don't notice it so much. But if you game for an hour and a half or so, the frame will start to heat up as the phone is pushed quite hard. Now, there is charger bypass or battery bypass when you plug the charger in. So that will stop it from heating up as much. So if you're gaming for longer periods, you can just plug it in and that will help reduce some of the heat because you're not going to get that heat coming from the battery being charged, but just to power the phone itself. So this is where you will find that setting. It's under battery. Now you'll see here charge separation. That's what they call it. So what it's going to do is use the power cable, your charger, to power the phone and not the battery. And this is how it's going to save a little bit on the heat. And I guess long term it's going to be good for the battery too as well. And you can set when it to automatically enable this percentage for charging separation too. And you can have it automatically turned on or just enable it straight away, but I haven't got my charging cable plugged in. Over to the cameras and first up video performance. A front facing video here, 1080p. It's of course looking through the under display camera here, through those pixels. So as I've mentioned in the other videos that use the same under display cameras, that this is the weakness, especially noticeable with video. Now they can do a bit of trickery with the photos so you don't really notice it as much. But with video, it looks like I've got like a fingerprint or smear over the front lens. Of course, I don't. It's clean, but this is what it is like. So the vlog footage here also seems to have no electronic image stabilization, so it is shaky. It's not a phone for vloggers. Video with the RedMagic, we've got 4K 30, 4K 60, 120, and you also do have 8K 30. Now, when I shoot video, I can't swap over. In the Pro mode or the normal mode, I can't swap to the ultra wide. And this is a limitation that they have just with the software side of things. The electronic image stabilization is looking reasonably good, but I feel that this quality is not the same as other flagships. With RedMagic, the focus really is not the camera performance, but more, of course, gaming performance, the screen and the experience for gamers. This is video now with the ultra wide 14mm, but it's not actually 14 because of the electronic image stabilization cropping in a bit. Quality nowhere near as good as the main camera. I find this ultra wide video quality a little bit disappointing. I really think it could be better. It's not that great, I feel, and the stabilization is not looking good either. I'm not too sure if it's even using electronic image stabilization, how shaky it is. So that video quality was really disappointing, and the photos, well, they're like a mid-range kind of phone. The portrait shots I'm showing you now, I mean, they're okay, but they're not flagship level. They probably want you to buy the Nubia Z80 for that. This is the selfie camera with the under display, not that great. Overexposure a little bit on those pedals here, the optimization, saturation, it's just not really there. I'm not feeling it for these photos. I don't think the quality is that good at all, and it's always the same. Now, they might improve this with firmware updates. The low light's looking very grainy, a bit blurry, and the color's just way off. If you look at the left side, it's just not right, the white balance with these nighttime shots either. I mean, they are okay, but really, all of these shots here, even some mid-range phones will take better photos than the RedMagic 11 Pro.
So I really love the ultrasonic fingerprint reader. It works every single time, really accurate, and for me it's 10 out of 10 times I use it, it seems to work, which is pretty much the same with any other ultrasonic fingerprint reader that I've used and tested. Good to see they're moving away from optical most brands. Now the screen, it's very bright, it's nice and clear, no ugly cutout, no hole punch, and a really good 95 plus screen to body ratio with this. 6.85 inches, up to 144 hertz. Good, nice deep blacks, great colors, and excellent touch response. And pulse width modulation flicker, not really seeing any with it. The shoulder triggers work very well. The cooling in this, well, liquid cooling, the fan at 24,000 RPM does do something, but RedMagic is really pushing that performance right out there. So it's removing the heat from the chipset, the vapor chamber, the fan, the liquid cooling, and pushing a lot of that into the frame. So as a downside, as I pointed out, it can get very hot, over 50 degrees Celsius, the frame of the phone, for long extended gaming sessions. You have the charger separation option, which I showed briefly. That's a very good option for gamers out there. 3.5mm headphone jack, an absolute must. Great to see they have that. The only real thing that's missing is a micro SD card slot is not present. So you get 2 nano SIMs, but no micro SD with this, unfortunately. The loudspeakers do sound very good, and the under display camera at the front, that 16 megapixel camera. For selfies, it's okay, it's passable. For video performance, not good, no real stabilization. So the downside, as always with these RedMagic phones, is the cameras aren't really, in my eyes, flagship grade. There's something more like a mid-range phone. And if you're fine with that and you game a lot and the gaming is your focus, then it's the phone to get. It really is. It's got the top performance right now for the most demanding Android games. This is the phone that is going to handle it the best out of the whole market right now at the time of me publishing this video. So the battery life, out of that 7,500 milliamp hour battery, I think it's decent, but it could have been better. Now the fan and the liquid metal that's moving around with a little pump in there and all that, that does take a slight toll on the battery. And I think we're losing around about 15% or so because of that. So the screen could have gone for a little bit more screen on time, but again, it's the way they're pushing the performance, the fan and everything else there. And the charging time, well, just over an hour. It's acceptable considering how large the battery is in this. So there you go, that's my review of the RedMagic 11 Pro. Thank you so much for watching.